Could you be potentially setting yourself up to be challenged again and again and again? Or instead, when you're facing a crisis, are you taking fully advantage of what you're going through? What am I talking about? What is there to take advantage of when we're going through a crisis? Because living in the world that we live in has caused for a lot of people to question even the purpose of their own existence, right? And when something traumatic happens, like what we've been living since 2020, we tend to say, okay, that's fine. Hang in there. Time is going to heal. We'll get out of it. It's going to be okay. The long term. And yes, time does magic. I agree with that. But what if we don't want to wait? What if we want to feel good today? Right? And how can we fast track for us to feel better right now? The crisis that you're going through is happening for you, not to you. And whatever is happening, it's not designed for you to just have to work hard now and push through it. It's designed to teach you something and make you grow. So if you don't do anything about it and you just wait until you feel better and get back on your feet, then you may not really get the full benefits of the crisis. You're wasting a good crisis and you may not grow. You may just make the same mistakes in the future. And I'm not saying that the crisis was your fault. I'm saying that you had to learn something that will serve you in the future. So always revert back to asking yourself, what could be the learning? And things are getting back to kind of more normal now. So let's make sure we don't lose track of what we're supposed to take from this. Otherwise, we've wasted a really good crisis. And it doesn't have to be just the pandemic or the economic situation that we're in. The passing of a close family member or a friend, or a divorce, a breakup, losing your job, or letting go of an employee that you thought was a good fit, a change in your career, communication with your fast-growing teenagers, business challenges, any other significant changes. So let's take a breakup, for example, or leaving your job. So a breakup professionally or a breakup personally. So the dating part was amazing. You started your job, you loved it. You got to know your coworkers, you got to know your partner, and potentially very kind people grew together to suddenly become not so nice to each other, fighting and breaking up, or colliding and quitting, or having to be let go. Personality can start colliding at work, and although you thought this was the dream candidate or the dream job at the interview level, it turns out that it was not a good fit. And then people would say, well, this person is not really nice, actually. It turns out that this is not a good company to work for, or the candidate was not what they promised in the interview. So what are you learning from this? What could you do differently in the next relationship or in your next job? Or what you could do is just put your head in the sand, move on, step right into the next relationship in the next position, or hire a replacement and do nothing about it and waste a good crisis. You can ask, is there something you've learned from this? Otherwise, you'll be stepping in the next personal or professional relationship, making potentially the same mistakes that could have maybe saved the first relationship in the first place. And here's the most important part. And I said it many times, do not waste an awesome crisis. If you're going through a challenge or anything, as a matter of fact, that makes you uncomfortable, don't make the mistake of just putting your head down and hustling through it. While there's a time where you feel that all you can do is just do and you're just trying to survive, keep your mind off it, and you're trying to keep your mind off of the challenge, so you're pretending that it's not there and you keep going, but it's keeping you awake all night. You're getting farther and farther down inside your crisis. You try to avoid it. It won't let you. So take the time to step back in and fix the problem where it belongs. What do I mean by that? How do we do that? So there's three main areas that you need to go into to break down the lessons that you're learning. And I'm referring here to the last three neurological level of my DNA system, which is based on the research of Robert Delft that demonstrated that there are 6 levels to a person's self. So why am I mentioning 3? It's because the first 3 levels, most people are looking at that, like the environment. Maybe they quit their job because it was too far. There was an hour and a half to commute. So the environment wasn't right, or the behavior, the actual job description did not fit. People can figure it out. Like you are normally very good at identifying if you did not have the skill, or if the candidate that you had hired did not have the skill. Or in a relationship, environment, behavior, the things around us, the people around us, the things that people do, and the skills, we kind of know that. These lessons, we learn them very quickly. What I'm really referring to is the 3 layers that we tend to ignore and just move on into the next relationship without having made any changes in these neurological levels. So beliefs and value, identity, and life purpose. They are the last 3 levels that we need to go back to when a crisis happened. Whenever you feel challenged, go back to these upper 3 levels. Yes, of course, the skills, the behavior, the environment, they're all very important. But like I said, we're really good at identifying these 3 very early on. So let's step right into first the beliefs and value. So that's where we do a lot of our self-sabotage. We tend to not follow the things that are important to us, and therefore we are creating limiting beliefs that make us keep going and keep at it, and we keep putting nails on our own feet, and we keep making the crisis worse. So this has got to stop. So you need to ask yourself, what is it that you need to believe in order to get through this? Whatever is happening to you at that moment, what it is that you need to believe. You need to believe, let's say, that you are made for this job, or that this relationship is going to work, or that you need to make the commitment. When you look at your value, the second piece, it's not just what you need to believe, it's also what is important to you. And it's true that sometimes you get into the relationship, and when there's a breakup, it's because the values are colliding. It's very common. So start there. What is really important to you? And in your next relationship, you need to look for a company maybe that shares the same values, that you will be working for an organization that will have these values, or you'll be looking for candidates that are sharing the organization's values. It's very, very important. Now, identity, that second piece, is who do you need to be, or who do you need to learn how to become more of in order to get to the other side? So sometimes this is where we need the most help, because we're wondering, how do I figure out who I need to be? And you may need to look on your own personality. You may need to look on your own meta programs to work on what are the things that drive you and that make you the person that you are. And if there's something that you can potentially improve to step into the next relationship better, then that would be a good idea. Otherwise, you might just continue to not be the person that you really want to be, and to bring the same mistakes into the next relationship. Purpose is also very important. So why is that important that you get through this? So you're right in the middle of a crisis, and then you're asking yourself, why am I doing this in the first place? What is the reason behind the whole reason? Why am I Who else am I serving with this? Because when we get into purpose, it's no longer about us. It's no longer about our own identity. It's no longer about what's important to us and our own belief. And the first 5 layers are personal. But when you get into purpose, it's no longer about yourself. So yes, you need to work on the first 5 levels until your identity is what you want it to be. Until you say, yeah, I love who I am. And then you can move forward and go into that purpose and move up and say, okay, what is really that I'm after in a relationship with my next partner, or what it is that is really important to me. What is the purpose following my values, my beliefs, what's important to me, who I want to be, who I am, and who else am I going to be serving? What is the big reason behind that? So go into your purpose, because when you drive everything from purpose, then you can learn a lot more and ask us, and you'll be able to figure out what are the silver linings from this crisis. How will you benefit from this event so that it makes you stronger, it makes you grow. And once you're there, you'll be able to be serving somebody. Who will you be helping? Because when you're in a challenge, and I'll give you a very simple example, I went through a pretty heavy month. I was super busy. I was working a lot more than normal, than I would have liked to, and it's okay. We like being busy. And at the same time, my husband had a bike accident and needed for me to be more involved in a lot of household chores, which is perfectly normal, which I was happy to do. But at the same time, while I was going through my stuff, let's say, because my purpose was driving me, because at the end of the day, my husband is a lot more important than anything that I was doing. It was easier for me to push through what I had to go through, because my higher purpose was that I needed to get rid of these tasks to free up some time so that I could take care of what's really important. What is my real purpose, and who else am I serving? Who else is this going to benefit? These long hours that you push through at work is because who else? It's your family that are depending on you. And there's a bigger purpose and a bigger picture than the task that is at hand. It's not, I don't like this task, it's challenging. It's like, I need to do this because I have better things to do, or I have more meaningful, a better why behind something. So next time that you're going through a challenge or an existential crisis, if something challenges you, make sure that you revisit your beliefs, your value, and your identity, and then your purpose, because it will greatly help you in putting in perspective, and it will give you that peace that will be able to cover maybe the fear that's inside this challenge, looking inwards, and so then you'll be able to trust yourself that you will, by trusting yourself, you will become more brave. And bravery is usually that piece that you need to let go of the fear, and instead of choosing fear, you choose to be brave, you choose to be resourceful, you're at your best. And when you're at your best, you can face everything. So what is the crisis that you're going through right now? And don't waste it. It is teaching you something for sure. So get all the juicy parts and get all the benefit from it. It is your time to get to the next level of your journey. So take advantage of it.